Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are nearing the end of our Education Abroad Fair. If you've joined us previously, welcome back. If this is your first session, welcome in. We are here today to talk about education abroad programs in Oceania, so Australia, New Zealand, and then we'll touch on a couple programs in Fiji and Samoa. My name is Drew Doty. I'm an education abroad coordinator. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm going to get us started by reading the CSU land acknowledgement. Before that, if you have any questions throughout this presentation, please drop them in the Q&A box. And my colleague Nicole also is joining us. We'd be happy to help answer or bring them live, and I can answer them for everyone here. All right, Colorado State University acknowledges with respect that the land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples. This was also a site of trade, gathering, and healing for numerous other native tribes. We recognize the indigenous peoples as original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties nations have to their traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed. CSU is founded as a land-grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and inclusion. And significantly, that our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land this university was built upon. This acknowledgement is the education and inclusion we must practice in recognizing our institutional history, responsibility, and commitment. So as I mentioned, my name is Drew Doty. I am an education abroad coordinator. I regionally advise in our office for programs in Africa and the Middle East. However, previously, I also advised for programs in Australia and New Zealand. I work on our risk management team, and I also help with some of our unaffiliated programs. I'd like to begin with a little bit of myth busting around education abroad. So we hear often students thinking that in order for them to go abroad, they're going to have to delay their graduation to make it happen, which if you've been planning well enough in advance, not only should an education abroad experience enhance your degree, but it should help you graduate on time. And in some cases, it may even help you graduate early. Secondly, we hear often that going abroad is going to be too expensive or more expensive than a term here at CSU. While we certainly have programs that are more expensive than a term at CSU, we have a plethora of programs that are going to be the same cost, if not lower than a term here. You can absolutely fulfill your coursework abroad. In fact, all the programs offered through our office are associated with academic credit. There's various, some of them are CSU classes that you're taking, so there's no transfer credits involved. Others, we have a process for transferring credit in. You're going to work with our office as well as your academic advisor to make sure the coursework you're taking is going to work well for you and your grad plan. Lastly, our programs are safe. We have a risk management team that does vet our programs. Our international risk manager is constantly monitoring and communicating some of the challenges and risks students might face while they're abroad. By working together with us, we foster a safe and successful experience for students all over the world. So why go abroad in Oceania? Well, most of the programs that we offer are going to be in English-speaking countries, so there's zero language barrier. I'll say that with the caveat, although it is English-speaking, there are very different cultures, so you will get a foreign cultural immersion experience, but you'll have that benefit of having the same language. And that is with the exception of Fiji and Samoa, where you may experience Fijian or Samoan language as well, in addition to English. We have several programs that are approved for the use of GI Bill benefits. And we have several options for STEM majors, which can be kind of hard in some places of the world. Oceania, for the most part, most of our programs are in the Southern Hemisphere. So if you're someone who's looking to escape the Colorado winter and go somewhere where it's nice and warm and still summer months, this region of the world may be a good fit for you. If you're interested in traveling around to seeing other countries, specifically in Southeast Asia, you have very close access to this part of the world. Kind of in the same way that a lot of students like to go to Europe because they want to see multiple countries. Southeast Asia and Oceania are similar in that way. And when it comes to this region, it is really an outdoor enthusiast playground. So if you're into hiking, backpacking, snorkeling, scuba diving, surfing, kayaking, canoeing, all of these things, there's going to be an abundance of opportunities for this in this region. So I'm going to start talking to you about some of the programs that we offer in this area of the world. Please know that with all of these are just kind of a few examples to get you thinking about what you might be able to do in this region. If you don't see a program that really excites you, don't worry, come talk to us. We'd be more than happy to find a program that will fit. So this first program is at Macquarie University. This is located about 40 minutes outside of Sydney, Australia. Sydney is the capital. It is kind of probably the most iconic city in Australia. The campus itself is the largest in Australia, having about 40,000 students. And as such, it's got coursework for just about every major out there. It is connected by train to downtown Sydney, so it's super accessible. Even if you don't have your own transportation, you can get around by public transit quite easy. And it's about 30 minutes to Sydney and another 30 minutes to the ocean if you're interested in going to the beach. Students can choose from housing that is both on campus as well as off campus. Majority of course offerings are going to be liberal arts and STEM, but again, that's a pretty big range. If you are not finding coursework at Macquarie, but would like to be in this area, we do have some other programs offered in this kind of greater Sydney area that we can talk to you about as well. The next program I want to talk to you about is the University of South Australia, which is located in Adelaide, Australia, which is on the southern coast. Adelaide is a little bit smaller city, more comparable in size to Denver, Colorado. So whereas Macquarie, which was in Sydney, you might compare that to like the LA of Australia. Adelaide is going to be a little more like Denver, a little bit smaller. And as such, you're probably going to get exposed to a little more of Australian culture. Not that you wouldn't in Sydney, it's just Sydney is a huge multicultural hub, whereas Adelaide tends to be a little bit less so. So you'll experience more Australian culture here. University of South Australia is an urban campus, which means that there is, unlike CSU, where we have one defined campus where all our academic buildings are in one place, UniSA has academic buildings kind of throughout the city. So kind of think of like CU Denver as an example that might be comparable. That said, Adelaide is known as the 20-minute city because it takes about 20 minutes to get from just about anywhere in the city. You have access to some of the rolling hills in the background. It is also right on the coast if you're interested in going to the beach. It's considered one of the most livable cities in Australia and the world. Students enjoy the opportunity to attend some mini festivals, sporting events, famous food and wine, as well as visiting the long beachfronts and parklands. And then I want to talk about the University of Tasmania, which is in Hobart, Australia. Tasmania is actually off the coast of mainland Australia on a small island off the southern coast. It's in the same latitude as the South Island of New Zealand. And so kind of geographically and climate wise, it's very similar to New Zealand in that way. So for students who might be considering either going to New Zealand or Australia, University of Tasmania can be a nice in-between because you get that Australian culture, but with more of that kind of New Zealand geography, if you will. University of Tasmania. So it's in the capital of the state of Tasmania, which is Hobart. Hobart's about the same size as Fort Collins. Super accessible, easy to get around. It has mountains right in the backdrop of the city. Being an island state, you're going to be surrounded by coastline everywhere. So for those who are really interested in outdoor recreation, University of Tasmania can be a really awesome fit. This program is going to work really well for students in STEM majors, specifically College of Ag Science, Warner College of Natural Resources, and some liberal arts degrees as well. It is kind of renowned for its natural resource programming. That said, it is a large university. So if this sounds like you and you're not in any of those colleges, come talk to us. We can probably find some coursework that might work for you. I'm going to move over to New Zealand, where I want to highlight Lincoln University, which is one of our oldest partnerships in the Education Abroad office. We've been working with them for almost 25 years now. Lincoln University is New Zealand's premier land grant institution. And as such, we've had a pretty strong partnership with our College of Ag Science and Lincoln University. So typically in the fall semesters, Lincoln University acts as an exchange program with us, which means they send us students and we send them students. But then in the spring, because of that partnership we have with the College of Ag Science, we get to send a faculty member from that college to go live in residence at Lincoln. And they're there just as an added support to all CSU students who are attending that semester. And that happens each spring. So as you can imagine, this is going to be a great fit for students in the College of Ag Science, but also for students who are in Warner College of Natural Resources. This Lincoln University is located about 25 minutes outside of Christchurch, New Zealand. There's housing both on campus and off campus. It is on the South Island of New Zealand. So if you are someone into outdoor recreation, you're going to hear me say this a lot, this presentation. If you're into outdoor recreation, this is going to be an awesome location for you because you have pretty close access to national parks, fjord, rivers, coastal nature reserves, glaciers, rainforests, mountains, all of the above. All right. If you'd like to be in more of an urban setting and still go to New Zealand, we have another option for you at Massey University, which is located on the North Island. Massey is pretty unique in that it actually has 3 campuses. Right now you're looking at the Wellington campus, well, part of the Wellington campus, which is on the south part of this North Island. They also have a campus kind of in the center of the North Island called Palmerston North. This is actually their largest campus and where the majority of coursework is offered. Then they have a campus up in Auckland, New Zealand, which is on the north tip of the North Island, another major urban center, but a slightly smaller campus. This Massey University is going to cater to a wide array of students in different disciplines. It is pretty strong for engineering students, as well as communication, media study, art history, psychology. Depending on which courses you need to take, that may determine which campus you go to, because not all courses are offered on all 3 campuses. Next program I want to highlight is through one of our affiliate partners called SIT. This is the School for International Training. This one takes place in Samoa and has an excursion over to Fiji. The theme of the program is on social and environmental change. SIT is very unique in the Ed Abroad space in that it's an entirely field-based learning program. So you're going to spend very little time in a formal classroom setting. In fact, for this program, the only real classroom setting you're going to have is when you're taking Samoan language courses. You'll live in a homestay for a good part of the program. And the rest of the time, you're going to be out in the field learning how to conduct social research. And you'll actually design and implement your own research project throughout course of the semester. This is a really cool program if you're interested in going to some of those South Pacific island nations that are actually sinking because of climate change. They're not going to be around forever. This is a really unique opportunity to get to go study these kind of disappearing island nations. And lastly, I wanted to highlight a short-term program that happens over the summer months. And it's through our affiliate partner, SFS, which stands for the School for Field Studies. Very similar to SIT in that, again, is going to be entirely field-based learning. This program is really unique. It's the only one of its kind where you're actually going to start the summer term in New Zealand, and then you're going to fly over to Australia to finish it up. And you'd have the option to extend your summer term by another 4 weeks in Australia to go learn about coral ecosystems. All right, so as you're preparing to go abroad, there's kind of 3 main groups of people that you're going to work with before departure. You're going to have your CSU Education Abroad coordinator. That's someone like myself who's going to help guide you through all the pre-departure steps. We'll be there for questions while you're abroad if you need them, and we'll be here when you return to help welcome you back. We've also got your CSU Academic Advisor, or ASC. They're going to help you understand the courses that you need to be looking for the term that you want to go abroad. And they're going to review the classes that you plan to take to make sure that those classes are going to work towards your grad plan to keep you on track to graduate on time. And lastly, you'll have either a program advisor or a CSU faculty and staff group leader, kind of depending on the type of program that you're going on. It'll be one of those two, and you'll work with them pretty closely. If you are a student who uses financial aid, I have good news. Most of your financial aid can be used to pay for your Ed Abroad experience. We do have 2 financial aid advisors, Cindy Maris and Evelyn Martinez, who specialize in education abroad. You can meet with them. They will pull up your financial aid profile, let you know what of your aid can be used to go abroad, what might not be able to be used, if anything, and they can talk to you about other funding opportunities to help fill in any gaps that you might have. You can schedule an appointment with them through our website, or you can reach out with questions at specialprograms@colostate.edu. We also offer several scholarships through our office. These are available through the Education Abroad Common Scholarship application, which is found on our website. This is one application that you submit, and we will review your application for every scholarship that you are eligible for. We've currently got about 30 different scholarships, a little over 30 different scholarships in our office. You're not going to be eligible for all 30, but you might be eligible for 2 or 3. We also have passport scholarships. So for those who've never had a passport before and are looking for a little extra support and funding to get one, passport scholarship is a great resource. Our office is also a passport processing facility. So if you need to renew your passport or get one for the first time, you can come on in and make an appointment with us. We have about 7 peer advisors in our office currently. These are students who have been abroad recently. We're so excited about their experience. They decided to come work for us to help students like you better prepare for going abroad. You can see here you can see the students that we have in our office right now on staff and where they studied abroad. They offer open advising hours every week. So if you are interested to come talk with one of them and kind of hear the student perspective of what it's like to be abroad and how beneficial it's been, each one of them would love to chat with you. We also offer open advising hours for the coordinators in our office. These are available Tuesdays, 1 to 4 p.m., Wednesdays, 9 to 12, and 1 to 4. Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 12. These are available over Zoom or in person, depending on which one suits you best. You can scan this code here for more information about open advising or scheduling an appointment. If you are coming for an in-person appointment, you're going to come into our office in Laurel Hall, which is located on the northeast side of the Oval. All right, if you are ready to go, you know you're ready to go abroad and you're ready to start the process, you can scan this code here. It's going to bring you to our Start Here page, which has step-by-step instructions for getting started. And that's all I have for you today. Are there any questions in the Q&A box?
No questions yet, Drew. Nothing's come through.
No worries. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and end there. Thank you all for joining us today and hope to see we've just got a couple sessions left in the fair. So if you're interested, stop in later.